What is up, guys? Welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Meanies. The team name is the Savage Meanies this year because of this guy across the table here. I'm joined by Grant McCartan, the coach of the Pretenders. How are you, Grant?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. And yes, no name change for me. Unsurprisingly, boring, straight to the point. It is what it is, I guess. But it's good to be back. I'm pretty excited.
I'm surprised you didn't go with the Bulldogs.
You're not going to use that joke for another year. Mate, surely you can come up with something new this year. I reckon let's give it a couple of episodes and you'll find something.
You know what's funny? I actually did the Bulldogs predicted 17 today, and they look a lot stronger than I give them credit, than I've thought all preseason. So actually kind of excited to watch the Bulldogs go along this year. Also joined by the 2021 champion, a.k.a. the owner of the Green Book. What's going on, Timmy?
Yeah, I've got it on display. It's a feature piece of the table at the moment, so I just thought I'd give it its run at the opening proceedings of the podcast. Oh, I've got to keep. He gave me the wheel, and he does this sometimes. Yeah. It's like, just keep talking, mate.
Yeah, it's way worse when you're by yourself as well, and he just starts spinning his fingers, and you're like, "Well, what do you want me to spin for, mate?"
At least we can talk amongst ourselves over here.
I like the triple head here. It's good.
Yeah, I like it. All three of us. This is the first time we've done it in a long time. I think we did it a couple of seasons back, but last year we really tried to be efficient with our rotation. I think we did well last year. And it's funny, that thing I do, it's the same signal I do for hurry up, keep going. So
it's hard to know which one.
Yeah, don't worry, we're well aware of that.
We're here for the Second Row Forward podcast, 500k plus. I'm excited for this one because I think every year we kind of look at the second rowers that are below 500k and think that's all the value, that's where it lies. But this is the episode every single year I look at and I'm like, crap, maybe I've actually got to start with one of these guys. So I'm excited to get it going. Firstly, our overall league code, 264004. Please join that. We have a year's worth of Patreon subscription for free. If you win that league and more prizes to be announced, please, if you're watching on YouTube, head over to the Spotify and Apple, follow us on there, and vice versa, head over to the YouTube and subscribe. How you been, Grant? Off-season, what's been your biggest takeaway so far?
My biggest takeaway so far in the off-season was the fact that I actually just stayed away as long as I could. I know you guys have been putting out some really good content. I have been listening. I've picked it all up in the last couple of weeks, but yeah, I was. I reckon it was mid-January before I really even started thinking SuperCoach. And for me, and I know Timmy sort of gets in the same spot sometimes. It's just I just try and avoid burnout. Really need a good solid break from the NRL. Love my cricket, love plenty of other, love the NBA. So I've got other things going on, but I find that I come back with a lot, like with so much energy when you get that actual break. So fair play to all the guys that have been putting out content now for over a month, but I needed the extra few weeks, so I'm glad you're allowed for it.
Well, the reason we started so early is because we're only due to finish the week before the games start, and then we're into team list straight away. So based on all this research, we do so much research every week, and we struggle to get a week's worth of research into the Tuesday episode as it is, because there's so much every week. So the way we kind of plan it out, it always just lands right on the start of the season. So I like that. And me and Timmy had a good talk the other week just saying, when should we do fullbacks? Because the big episode the week before team list, like that, it's the biggest episode every year, and we'll get bulk listens in a week. I don't like it sitting there, and it's the most updated information. It's the most crucial position. So yeah, fullbacks is always the week before. But so cricket, before we go on to the second rows, cricket, how'd you feel when Hads was getting hit off Steve Smith?
I sent him a message before, like in mid-over, and just said, "Mate, don't worry, I'm here with you." I had a chat to him that night. He was pretty downtrodden, but by the next morning, fair play to him. He was back at it. He's like, best batsman of our era, maybe the best batsman of all time. What do you do? And I thought it was a great attitude. So, Hads, shout out. Well done, mate.
I felt so bad for him because so many people don't see the journey that he's been on. He's been chipping at this for a long time. So It just felt like, and even you see in all the comments now that people are calling him shit and stuff, and it's just so down-putting for him. But I sent him a message as well. He was in good spirits the next day and took it like a champion.
Yep.
I think someone was complaining about their day, and he responded saying, "Are you sure your day's going that bad?"
At least you didn't get hit for 30 off and over. No, he's a good man, Hads, and he he's obviously been on this journey for a while, and I think you'll find that anyone who's had the ups and downs and been through sort of not just making it straight to the top is pretty resilient, and I think that's what he's shown.
We'll hopefully see him some point in the season. He's usually pretty busy, so we try and lay off. Just like you give him a nice break from SuperCoach as well.
As soon as cricket finishes, we should get him on, I reckon.
That's
the time.
Sounds like he's got good character, and I think he'll push through it. People who take it like that are usually the type of people that come through and shine. So,
100%. All right, let's get into SuperCoach because this is a big one. Let's start off with Hudson Young. Do you want to start off, Timmy, with what you have?
Yeah, okay. Last year was... Geez, you're coming in hard.
Sorry.
So last year was like a big year for him because he started really strong compared to how he did the year prior. Started with the 3-round average of 70, 6-round average of 78.5. His, scores were ridiculous, like consistent in those like over X percentages. So 90 plus 30% of the time. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. That's like pretty close to Nathan and Payne Haas sort of territory as well. So he's got that upside. And then just above like all the other ones, ticking every box, above 60, 75%, above 70, 60%, above 80, 45%. So it was a good year for him. You'd have to pay up for him. Like you really are paying for it. Whether he can put it out, I'm not too confident. He's not someone I'm confident in starting with at the price. Just looking at the teams that he's coming up against, I looked into how many tries they conceded to opposing left second rowers last year, just to see whether any of them were kind of like leaky and whether they might carry that into this year. And none of them were. They were all like on the lower end, and without boring everyone with like the numbers, whether it was 4, 6 or 7 or 8 for each side for the season, they were very low compared to some of the other players who we get to a bit later who have got some sides that are more vulnerable in that spot. So yeah, I think he's great if you want one centerpiece to start with. He's probably the guy. I mean, you don't have to rely on him scoring tries for him to go big. He does score pretty decent without it. He's got good base of 52. So that's all I've got to say on him. And I'll...
Yeah, the big thing about him last preseason was he scored 5 tons, and that was the most of any second rower, and that really stood out to me, and I really compared that with a lot of players throughout multiple positions. There was players who he scored more tons in high upside positions, so that really stood out to me, and he scored 3 tons last year and 2 90s, which is down from his 5 the year before, but he scored 5 tons the year before and no 90s, so very similar to what he did the year before. 49 in pure base I got here, so 52, I guess we're very similar in the stats we got from there. 68 average in base and power, which to me is so significant. I think that's elite based on that. And based on that, he should be about 700k. And you add all the try scoring abilities on top of that, and that's where you get the 754k. The thing that does concern me is it probably was a career year in terms of SuperCoach. 75% of his games were over 60 compared to previous years were 50%, 43%, 55% and 53%. I think it could be one or two things. Canberra Raiders overachieved and he was exactly like that. Or maybe he achieved to his ability. He achieved, everything went his way. Whereas, can it go that smoothly this year?
One thing, if you don't mind, before I pass it over.
Grant
with the second, with the Canberra side, they're very dominant in the second rowers. That's where they like to attack with good close attacking ball close to the try line. So I don't think they'll go away from that. There's just the factor of potentially might have a different half with him. He might have a different Ethan on his side this year.
Yeah, no, that's what the mail that I've got at the moment with Fogarty gone is Strange may actually swap back to the. So he was originally a right edge player all through his junior footy. So that's the talk at the moment. Sanders is also left footed. So that helps being on that left edge. I think no matter what way you look at it, he's either due to stay very similar or have some regression. And I think we all know that we're looking for players early in the season that are, that there's some value there. For the most part, you do have to pick a couple of guns that are probably at their top dollar. But is he the guy this year? Chances are I think there's enough I wouldn't say red flags, but maybe yellow flags that kind of just steer me elsewhere. But one stat I did have, which I think often goes overlooked, is he's played 19 plus games in 5 straight years. So there's not really much risk of injury, which is a big thing, especially early in the year. That's the type of guy that you just plug in and you can back to play all the way through to Origin. He probably makes the Origin side again this year, but there's no guarantee in that.
I think he potentially starts on the left edge depending on how Crichton goes this year. So there's every chance he does play Origin, but obviously this time of year we're not too worried about that. Years past, 64 in base and power in 2024 and 52 the year before. So in the last 2 years, I think we could pretty much easily say that he potentially might keep it up. He just might not get as much ball alongside Sanders. And I think there's, as you said, there's probably too many yellow flags to start with him at the price.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was going to say then?
Yeah, you were gonna say if he's 100k cheaper because we talked about it in the pre-show.
If he was 650k.
Come on, bro. We picked on him last week.
Cut him some slack.
I know. It's so easy to
kick a bloke while he's down.
I think your point is right though. Like that means his floor is probably somewhere in that mid 60. That's a week where he doesn't score, he probably scores 65. So it just says that there's not. He's probably not going to suddenly... it's not like he scored 20 tries in 20 games last year. It's not like he has to score every game. It's just he's added that base power because 0.8 is elite base power. 0.8 points per minute, 64 in 80 minutes is elite. So I think that gives you his floor, and then chances are he's still going to find some attacking stats. He's probably going to be at worst an early 70s guy.
Another factor is that, like you said, he didn't score 20 tries in 20 games. He did score 10 in 20 games, but he scores them in bulk a lot of the time. He scored 3, I think, twice, maybe.
He scored 3 doubles, I think, in a row at
one point. 3 doubles,
yeah.
I thought it was 2 triples, but yes.
No, he's a good player, and I think, if you're willing to pay that much, you don't need value with someone like him. You get what you get from him. Yep. I just think there's enough yellow flags not to need to start with him.
He might slightly underwhelm if he's not scoring the tries.
Put it this way, I think if you literally have filled up the rest of your team and you still have enough money for him, there's no issue with starting with him. It's just that I probably would spend that a little bit less in that spot and then use the extra money to fill up somewhere else, to go up a step somewhere else.
Yep. All right, moving on to Dylan Lucas, and I feel like I sit on the opposite end of the spectrum with him because I am last year was a breakout year for him. I think this year is about to absolutely go bazonkers and pretty much I reckon he's going to turn into a Supercoach staple of our sides. 68 in base and power in 2025, which is exactly the same as Hudson Young. 55 in pure base, which is 5 points up from Hudson Young. So you're getting that 55 floor. And I know with a premium player like that, if they're getting 55 and you feel like they did absolutely nothing, you're very happy with that. It's obviously a bit disappointing if you feel like they're trying to get involved and things haven't gone their way. But I think, just 55 pure base is purely elite. 59, 52, and 46 were his lowest scores. Apart from that, it was 63. So, we do have that high kind of floor. It's very Payne-Haas territories where there's minimal scores within that late 40s to early 50s range. 58 in base and power the year before. That's all I've got on him. But it's just he's a young player. He came through as a centre, so he's a try scorer naturally, but he's built that kind of power game and evasive game that I think he has every attribute to go to the next level. The Knights really need someone to step up in their forward pack, and I think he's going to be the guy. I'm very keen on him, and he's someone I don't see myself not starting with. Yeah, well, you've had him in all preseason, right? You've spoken about him.
No, not really. You just got him in the last.
I think he was in my first team draft. Yep. I had him out, but I got him in probably a week ago now. I haven't considered moving him.
Yeah, look, I think there's a couple of simple ones here. I think that the Knights are going to go left regularly. I think their attack's going to improve. I think that he will. I think we're all assuming, but Dill Brown should be on that side. If I had to start with him or Hudson, it's a no-brainer. I would start Lucas. I don't think he's as close to his ceiling as Hudson is. The only thing I did think about from last year was he actually only had 100 in the whole season. I know he only played 13 games, but compared to Hudson having 3, and 5 the year before. I think Hudson might have shown that he can maybe go bigger, and but that's the only comparison I've got. I would start with Dill over Hudson.
That Dylan Lucas Ton was a bit of a rampaging one through the buys too, where he scored about a zillion tries in one game as well. What was that, 4 tries?
I think it was a Hattie, wasn't it, against your boys?
He went for the 4th, but he dropped it over the line. I remember that.
It was against your boys, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Against like your Rezzies, basically. The Baby Panthers,
Yep.
Yeah, I think Dylan Brown is a massive point. This could be the Sean Lane, Dylan Brown combo back to 2022. Dylan Brown hasn't had anyone beside him that has run like that since 2022, whereas Lucas will be that guy.
And I think Dylan Lucas shits all over Lane, what he was even offering back then too, even though he was going pretty well. I do like that there's kind of what you're alluding to. He hasn't hit his ceiling particularly. He's sort of only just sort of hit the scene, and even just with limited time, like only having 13 games last year, if he had had a more full season, who knows how much of his momentum could have got going, and just with more experience, just sort of really exerting himself into each game. His over 90, 80, 70 and 60 scores are pretty much identical to what I said for Hudson Young's as well. So they're at a similar sort of price, so it kind of makes sense. But no duel this season, I guess, is one factor to consider. That was one of the appeals previously. You could chuck him down in the centres and move him around, but no duel this year. But I like him as well, because I think that he just does have, you don't need him to score as much as what you kind of want Hudson to. He can still, the base is kind of similar, but I don't know, it feels to me like that he does maybe a little bit more extra creative stuff when he's not scoring compared to when Hudson it does when he's not scoring.
My vibe is that Hudson, every time he scores, that's when he racks up some tackle busts and maybe a try assist with an offload, and that's where he gets a lot of his power stats from.
And maybe Lucas accumulates it naturally.
Exactly. So that's just my gut vibe from it. No stats are going through that.
Yeah.
Eye test.
No, that's fair. I mean, that's part of what makes you good makes a good super coach, though, right? Like you have to use numbers, and it's a numbers driven game, but it's not only numbers. You can see things that can change. The thing that I saw last year was, unfortunately, he gets shifted out to centre a little bit when someone gets injured. I know that it's not there yet, and I know that we're no use talking about or speculating on things, but if they ever do go to a 6-man bench, teams go to a 6-man bench, people like Dylan Lucas will actually be better super coaches for it, I think, because they won't get shifted out wider during the game, and they'll stay in their sort of preferred position. I think, but last year he did get moved out a lot, and that shows you how good his base power is in game. That includes games where he was at centre, where his base power is still pretty good, but it really It really shows what he's like at 2RF. It's probably even more than the numbers suggest. Also,
too, the Cows and the Wars leaked a fair bit of tries to their left second rowers last year, who plays them in round 1 and round 3. They leaked 8 and 7 tries respectively, which is kind of about 1 in 3-ish per game. So there's a bit of opportunity there early too, I guess, potentially.
I like it. He's in the green book, surely.
If I was going to spend premium, I don't. Little bit of a...
It's a little bit much, isn't it?
A bit of a disclaimer. I don't know that I'll be spending sort of 700 to 600. I think there's only 2 in this range that we're talking today. I might fit into my side on the lower end, but if I can free up a bit of cash somewhere, and I would potentially like to have one centerpiece guy that I really trust in.
Yeah.
So he would be that guy probably. So I think he has to go in there.
Sorry, I'm just a bit excited because it's the first time that I'm seeing some writing go in the Green Book in person this year. It's very enjoyable.
Thank you.
It is very enjoyable.
And I thought we should also just vaguely mention what the current percentages are too. He's currently 6% owned.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
So only some people are sort of flocking there, and I guess Hudson Young was also 6%. So
nice. Okay.
Equally shared at this point.
A lot of these guys are pretty lowly owned because there is so much value.
So there's value in the 2RF, for sure.
Yeah. All right, Elias Katoa.
Yeah, not playing. I think the only thing we can do is just acknowledge, hopefully he gets to, if not return to football, at least, return to sort of normal activities
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That poor bugger is doing it tough. So hopefully, that's one that's a bit bigger than footy, isn't it?
And let's hope SuperCoach get around us and sort his price out nicely for us next year if he does come back. So, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui. We didn't talk about him in the front row forward podcast because I was always under the impression that he'd just keep second row because I thought he was going to play lock. Jermaine Jolliffe injury happened. I think it's more than likely he does go into the front row with Chris Randall training at lock as well. To me, a lot of these positions are the same. Like Tino playing lock, Tino playing front row. His role is the same, so it doesn't really matter. Some teams it does differ, but he's priced at a 70.3, average 82.3 until Origin. The Jolliffe injury and RCG gone. Middles are light. He only scored 3 tries in 2025 compared to 6 in 2023, 4 in 2022. But it feels like he's more of a 6-7 tries guy.
I cannot believe that. I've got that in front of me too, like 3 tries, but I cannot believe that even. Like I didn't own him all year, Tino. Yeah,
It felt like he
the
scored
guy
every
who
week.
started at 500k that was 200k at least underpriced. I didn't start with him because he had a buy, and then always had bigger fish to fry, so I just couldn't bring him. I couldn't get him in
He
there.
said the word.
Yeah, he said it.
Yeah, so that was a nightmare, and I felt like and Hads didn't have him most of the year either, so we were always privately sharing our moments. Like whenever he drop it or whatever, there was a couple of drop balls over the try line. He looked like he should have scored a lot. So yeah, that's a thing.
It is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can go on.
I've
keep
got
some
going
more
if you got more.
information,
Just
but-
keep pumping them out.
No,
I like
no,
it.
no,
I'm
no.
listening. This is only making me want Tino more.
Oh, okay. All right, sure.
I've actually got something as well. He did score 7 in 2020, so he hasn't scored that many tries since 2020. He was playing off the bench in 2020, so obviously when the system is good, things are going well for the club, then there's more tries there for him. I feel like my vibe, Josh Hannay, is the type of person that will bring that kind of the happiness back to the club.
There were so many moments where he would sort of go like a bit extra, like too wide, and they'd just sort of throw it, and he'd sort of crash over. Like so many close ones. I reckon they're going to just nail this year. It'll be at least 6 or 7 this year at least. So he's owed a few.
Oh, don't start, please.
I
We'll
like
get some
that.
of the younger viewers in here.
So Tino 6 or 7. I think we should definitely do like a bold predictions podcast, and maybe that should be part of it. 64 in base and power, which pretty much just about covers his price.
Yeah. He also had 2 games where he played below 40 minutes, so scratch them out. An extra 5.5 points of value. His average would jump to 75.5. So just a little bit there.
Yep.
I guess that's why I pointed out his average before Origin, because it was 82.3.
Yep.
I think the injury to the sternum really.
Absolutely. I went pretty in depth. I actually tried to stay away from the stats because I've been listening to you guys, and I know that that's where you guys are going to do the stats. Then I'm trying to add a bit of my perspective and stuff like that. Just for this one. Normally, you guys know I love my base power stats, but
fuck, that's eyes up footy, Grant. That's eyes up footy.
Look, that's why we work so well as a team.
This is why Grant actually comes in about a month into pre-season. He's like one of those guys like Latrell that they're just like, mate, you come to training whenever you want, and that's basically how it works.
Yeah,
he's just
but I did do some base power stats on this one, and it did partly come from the eye test. So last year, he did that sternum injury right at the start of Origin, but he actually carried it. I know there was some shorter minute games, but he actually carried it through some of his longer minute games. They just kept chucking him out there and basically asking him to play through it. So I had a look at his base power points per minute, and the games where you can see a clear line were between rounds 13 and 20 last year. And if you take out his base power average in that period was 46. His base power period in the rest for the rest of the season was 69.3, and his average outside of that period for the season was 80.6.
Great. There's some great stats.
Yeah, and
said he wasn't going to bring any stats, and
well,
wow.
I said I did. I went into
good,
I went
bro.
deep on Tino because I remembered, how watching him as an owner, how much that sternum looked like it was affecting him, and I think when you add, the new coach, the fact that they've kind of cleaned house a little bit, and he really is the leader, and he's playing for that contract. I think for me, he's not a must because there's very few musts this year, but he'll be in my round 1 team.
So
Guys,
heavily owned too, 23%, which really surprised me. Like I thought that he'd be popular, but I thought he'd be closer to like 12 at the price still,
Yeah.
Guys, literally, if half of you listening sign up to the Patreon, then we can have this every week.
Yeah.
I'm loving this vibe with you two here. He will get the front row forward duel, I
Yes,
assume, because
absolutely.
SuperCoach NRL have alluded to that. The question I have is, can you go a Tino over a Payne Haas for a 160K discount?
I'm not going to go over him because I want. But it would be viable for those that have been itching for a way not to have Haas as their, because the advantage of Haas is the captaincy, right? Is the safe captaincy early. I don't see an issue with captaining Tino early.
Do you also think that new coach Tino, he'll be worried about trying to exhaust him out compared to previous coaches who have just milked him for everything he's worth?
Probably also wants to start well, though, right? And we're considering starting him. So that's, if you look at him from a starting point, I think he's got to
Wins on the board
get
early,
off on
right?
the 100%.
Yep.
And compared to Haas, do you think there's a world? I'm just comparing them next to each other because I think this will be a genuine point of contention. Do you think there's a world where Madge starts slowly and eases Payne Haas back into it?
There's a world, but I think that Broncos, when you're defending your title, you know they're still young and hungry, right? It's not like the Panthers when they got to 3 and 4 where they kind of sort of really did ease back in. I remember Panthers year 2, they would look just as hungry as they left, like they just left the grand final. They were straight back into it. So, I mean, Madge is an experienced coach and Haas is a critical part of that team. It's possible, but anything's possible at this stage of the preseason, isn't it? I think your original point is reasonably fair. If you're happy to take on Tino versus Haas purely as a captaincy option and hope that you stay within 5 to 8 points a game over the first month, there's a good chance it happens, yes.
All right. He's in... I assume he's in the Green Book. Is he in the Green Book as a front row or a second row? I would... just based on that, I would have him at second row.
I'd rather put him at front row just because I feel like that's where you get an advantage. But you'd only get the advantage if you also had Payne Haas not going against Payne Haas. The only way you would get the advantage if he was matching Payne Haas score-wise, I guess, as well. But if you had him in front row. But I just feel like if you can get that guy that... Yeah, I don't know. I just like that consistent sort of solid score in my prop. I don't like any variance and low ones there for some reason. I feel like I can take it in second row.
Yep.
I don't know if that's just a psychological thing.
No,
but
that's fair. I think it's fair. Look, teams are going to have guys like Mooney, Colquhoun. You got Paseka and Flegler and guys like that in the front row. So it really depends on how many positions you can.
I wouldn't mind having him as a dual interchangeable too.
I mean, if you've got, even if you don't go Colquhoun, but say you go at least 2 of Mooney or Tino and 1 of Mooney and Colquhoun, then you've straight away got that rotation anyway. So you're pretty well set.
But you think about it, if you've got a Tino and Haas up front and then you've got a Mooney, McEwen for feeder in your second row, does that feel great?
It doesn't bother me.
I guess
as long
exactly
as there's value.
Yeah.
It doesn't really bother me positionally. It just allows you to pick. I think it depends on where you want your reserves. Early in the year, I tend to prefer my reserves to be forwards.
Because I'm looking at it, 50k less than Dylan Lucas. It's somewhere where it could save, and I'd feel just as confident in Tino as I do with Lucas.
Well, at the moment, that's what I've done. That's where I sit at the moment. As I said, I'd still probably prefer the fun and upside of Lucas.
But 6% ownership too.
Yeah, but you just, it just oozes solid start.
Yep. All right. Shout out to Kamagara Accounting. Head over to kamagaraaccounting.com.au for all your tax return purposes. Grant is having some Sour Patch Kids, and my next player is a sour moment that I feel like a lot of us are going to have some arguments on. $110 for a basic tax return through Carl, or if you have anything more complicated like things for businesses, crypto, BAS lodgements, then mention the show and he'll sort you out for a price. His number is 0401
Sorry.
I remembered his number off by heart. Oh my god.
This is good
my god.
Give us some time to have another shower patch.
Carl McGrath. 0401 044 839. 0401 044 839.
0401 044 839.
I got it. There you go. KarlMcGrathAccounting.com.au for all your tax purposes. Jacob Preston. There are things I like about him, and but I don't like him to start the year. A lot of people are talking about him. 684,000. For one, he's not that much less expensive than Tino. Tino is... Where's Tino? Did I just delete Tino? No, Tino's 687, just above him. So, 3K more, you can get Tino. He has a base power of 61, which is pretty good.
Yep.
Scored 11 tries in 2025, which is great. Kick-out was out round 3 to 6 and round 26, which Preston shifted to the left side. He scored 4 of his 11 tries on that left side at an average of 95 on the left. I highly rate him playing on the left, but on the right, he averaged 63.75. And that's my issue with him.
Yep.
That's a fair find there. I like that. That's a good. Get the.
This is what happens when you watch the games and you know what's actually going on in between like sides and, you know, dudes with other dudes, as Max Bryden would say.
Shout out, Maxie.
Shout out, Maxie. I love that. I love that segment so much.
Yeah. So one thing, this is a player I was sort of suggesting a bit before, who might have an opportunity in the try scoring department. The teams he's coming up against had a bit of trouble dealing with left second row.
Left.
Right second rowers. Yeah, right second rowers. Yeah, right. Sorry. Although your chat on the left, it sort of threw me where I was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so Dragons, they conceded 9 last year.
We conceded 9 to everyone, everywhere, pretty
then
much.
there was the bye, so nothing there. But Raiders conceded 8, Knights conceded 8, South conceded 7, and Penrith conceded 8. A lot of the other sides in are conceding to left and second rowers sort of 3, 4, 5, 6 at most. 7 or 8 is a peak for that position, and every single one of those teams have conceded last year. So I just think that he's probably going to score at least 2 tries in the first 5 games. Just that's my feel, and he'll probably go big in 2 of the first 5.
Can I rebut that, please?
Sure.
So Dragons played their left edge, the right edge, most of last year. Dylan Egan was in and out. Luch there was a lot of in and out with him. He didn't really play 80 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I assume to start the year they'll have their strongest, obviously besides Dylan Egan there.
Yeah.
Souths, Dave Fafita and Latrell go to that edge. And Knights, Lucas only played 13 games. So I think looking into that stat, and if you're looking at a draw and a run, then it's kind of I get it completely, but it's also completely different edges to
potentially the people that were filling in were not as experienced with the combinations and were more vulnerable. Yeah, it's a good find.
I'll tell you what, I like having this notepad here because it allows me to just reference things and
make a couple of notes, circle something,
so you don't get too excited and forget about
exactly.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, look, I kept it pretty simple for Preston. I think at some point he'll be, a great own as we get into the season. It's just the round 2 buy is a killer for his price compared to these other guys that we've just talked about who don't have a buy early.
Round 2 buy, yeah.
I've got a little bit of something to rebut your stat about.
The reverse rebuttal. I don't mind this.
Yeah, if you don't mind. What's that called in the debate when you have your final go? What's that person called?
I wasn't smart enough to be in the debating team, Timmy, but
they gave me a go just because I'm a gas bag, mate.
They went for volume.
I won't take no for an answer.
Quantity over quality.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
fair enough.
it, exactly. But yeah, look, the 8 games he had last year with Galvin playing there, he averaged 72.
Is that including the left game where he played against the Panthers and scored 141 on the left?
I actually marked it as Galvin. Oh, I might have to check.
Because Galvin played 5'8".
You can pick it as Galvin in the side, or you can pick the tweaking. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Galvin played 5'8" that game, and their halfback was because Matt Burton didn't play, so Galvin played 5'8".
Look, I might have to look further into that. I would have liked to have had my computer here.
We'll take it offline and bring it back next week.
Yeah, that's the one we'll leave in limbo.
No,
but yep.
I did add that though as well, that the full off season with Galvin, I'm assuming can only help. I think that's a positive for
a preferred combination as opposed to maybe I know Viliame Kikau's still the guy, you know what I mean, but Galvin's got his little thing going.
Yeah.
You know what? With Matt Burton, I think Matt Burton is perfect for Kikau. Early ball to Kikau allows him to do his thing.
Yep.
And I think Galvin is perfect for
Preston. Get to the line, yeah.
Yep.
Which he did. He actually, Galvin showed that at the Tigers with Fainu on that edge, who actually looked like a pretty decent player running off him. So I did leave room for that. I do think Preston actually still has upside as well. Similar to Lucas, I think he's still got a bit more to give, but I can't pay that much money for a round. You can if that's your only round 2 buy, but when you start to look at, any Tigers that you want, that's round 1 gone. Any Dogs that you want, that's round 2 gone. And then any Manly players that you want, that's round 3. You got to be careful if you've got multiple guns across those. I think I spoke about it in the group chat without trying to get too far off course, but I'm trying to look at those first 3 rounds in particular as a bit of as a grouping. So it's not to say that you can't have one of them because they have a bye. It's more about how many of them do you have that then have a bye, and that's the thing to think about. I'm trying to probably have 1 or 2 from those 3 teams. Talking guns, if it's a cheapie or someone that is just there for a while, that's fine. But you just got to be careful how many guns you have from those teams.
It's a really good point because if you do, you're spending that 800k or 600k and you're leaving one of them out each week, and other people are avoiding that. They've got that extra.
Even if their guy scores less, even if your guy averages more each week, they're going to catch up substantially, potentially over you playing your 19th player on the weeks when they're on the bye, and that's something that I'm just wary of. Is how many points does if you don't go Preston and you go Tino, and Preston averages more, but Tino plays all the games. What about the week you play your reserve centre wing who gets 37 or something like that? That's where you'll make those points up. Do
you feel like that you can't really go these teams that have the bye in the first 3 weeks unless they're guns? Unless like Karaz, Karaz you can kind of go with. I'm kind of against Karaz because of the bye. If he wasn't playing the bye, I'd probably be more for it. But I think like for the Bulldogs in particular, I'm not very interested in any of their guns because of the bye. Yeah. Round 1, Tigers, you don't really need, there's Terrell May, you've got Payne Haas. And
some people might be looking at Dewey if the 6 situation doesn't improve. Oh, sorry, he's at halfback only actually, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
And I've seen a few people just say that they've in the last week that they're pretty keen on Dewey when he kicks. He's got good stats in the 80-minute games as a half, but I think, look, even people going turbo, I'm not concerned for, but I've said to you guys, I'm just wary of that because, he's only going to play 2 of the first 3 weeks, and he'd need to score reasonably well in a crucial position to outscore someone who's worth a lot less.
Yeah, and I've got turbo on my side as well, so I'm contradicting myself by saying that, but that's kind of why I say guns. Is that the only?
Yeah, most people are going to have 1 though, right? From those 3 teams, you're probably going to have 1. Yep. I mean, maybe not. Maybe you just go, I'm not dealing with any of those 3 teams, and I'll worry about the rest, round 4 onwards. But I think a lot of people are going to have someone from Kiraz, Preston, Turbo, Dewey. I doubt anyone's going Terrell May, as you said. So someone in there, I think.
Preston, is he in or out for you?
I really want him in there because I'm really excited I just think he's got a really fun upside.
Yeah, he's a cool guy to own. I agree.
Fun. Yep. He's fun. But I just feel like the likelihood of him making my side with other guys at similar prices, I probably would just go with spending. It's probably how much more is Lucas? About 60, 70?
Yeah, Lucas 60, Tino's 3K more.
Yeah, so it's tough.
Yep.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean,
if there's a kick-out injury, then I'm all for it.
I'll put him there because it does. I like to thin my list as it gets closer, and he might be one I have to put a line through easier. And it's going to be hard to put a line through someone. So
I hate how he's in there.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Are we doing these in separate? Because we're doing below 500k, is that going to be like a separate list or
a
is
separate
it just
page? It'd be a separate page because you can only consider one of these guys potentially, or 2, depending on your makeup. You might want to go lighter at centre wing and heavier. Each of their own.
Aaron Clark, 671,900, average 58 minutes a game in 2025, base power of 66, 63% over 60. This, to me, is you're getting what you pay for.
Yeah, that's the definition, isn't it?
Chasing last year's points.
Yep. I think. Look, there's every chance he might get roughly around that again. It was a breakout season. I just don't see how they get any more out of him than what they got. They literally got it felt like every bit they could. I know he started with lower minutes earlier on in the year, but you could tell by the back end of the year that he was someone who hadn't played those big minutes all the time because he was a bit burnt out at the back end. He still scored really well, or reasonably well, but he just looked done. They get that Gannon coming in who can play he can play edge and what?
Cameron.
Yeah, they get Gannon coming in who can play edge and middle, and then they've got Barnett to come back.
I think round 4.
Yep. So they've also got a very, very talented young pack. Mm-hmm. They've got to find minutes for some of these guys somewhere. I think Clark is, you get what's on the pack.
Yeah, especially in the middle, he could regress even like in minutes because 40, 50 minutes might be ideal for them. 50 minutes more likely.
Maybe with the other young, I don't know if you guys have said that, zoned off for a little bit because I thought I just drew on my neck when I was scratching myself, so I just kind of went out of it for a bit. But yeah, with the younger boys, they could potentially demand more minutes. Did anyone just cover that?
Yeah.
That's
okay. Essentially, I felt like something might
happen. That's right.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a little to
refresher.
to cross the T's and dot the I's. It's
that's
good
right.
To have
I like to dot my I's and cross the T's because I got a T and an I at the start of my name. You know what I mean? So without that, it could look like Lim or I don't know. So you know what I mean. So it's important for me.
That was quick, Timmy. That was quick.
But yeah, I've got a little bit around him. I'm probably not overly keen on him because he's like, if I'm going to go with someone like him, I'd prefer a Tino at a similar price who's very basey and trustworthy, who maybe lacks the upside. He did have a bit of upside though, Aaron Clark last year. He had quite a few tons. He had 3 tons without tries last year. So that's pretty big. 12 out of the 24 games he played last year were over 60 minutes. And in those games that were over 60 minutes, his average was 75. But then it is just a battle of knowing how many minutes he's going to play. But it seems unrealistic for them to expect him to do that.
With that stat in particular, I think that's very helpful with people we know the minutes kind of need to go to someone. Whereas in the Warriors team, I feel like the minutes kind of need to be shared throughout a multitude of people. So I think that stat proves more that you're going to get more from him when he plays more.
Bit of a red flag,
and he's probably not going to play more. One thing I will say is I feel like we're sleeping on the Warriors just a little bit, just in this preseason. Not SuperCoach-wise, but I think when we read their name as an opponent, we don't think they're as scary as they are.
I think they'll be tough to beat over there.
Yeah, I think they'll be tough defensively as well.
I think that's fair. Look, there's a fair few guys. Obviously, it's quite an extensive list, and I know that we don't talk about everyone, but he's just one of those guys who I think even like at least with Hudson, you kind of go, well, I'm paying top dollar and he's exciting, and I get something out of him. And Clark I just don't know. Like, Hudson's role, his minutes, there's a lot more certainty. I don't think Aaron Clark will lose substantial minutes or anything. I just don't know if he's going to play or be used as much as he was last year.
The start of the year, his minutes were really low. Like the first 5 games he played like under 50 minutes, and they were just easing him into the season. So maybe that's offset though by the fact that they probably did require more from different points of the season. Sorry,
no, you're talking.
My gestures were really aggressive right now.
I know what you were laughing at.
I started getting a little bub and a boopy with it.
It goes into the main screen, but you're talking, so no one will even see that.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's all good.
Yeah, no worries.
Fair.
Sweet. Yep. Happy days.
All right, so I'm automatically putting him on the cross list.
Yeah, I'm not going to chuck him in. Although he's very nice. He's a nice own to have when you can get him into your seat.
Do you feel like he'll be a factor at some point? Or
wait till round 10 and we'll talk again. Because
he was front row last year is why he was so attractive?
No, I think it was just like he just was really good. It was simple as that. He was really good. So let's talk about him again in round 10 when we get to Origin.
The was handy, but yeah, he was very consistent, man. He was like that guy that you could just count on for. Well, here's the thing: not over 50, 96% of the time. Like that's not everyone.
Hell. So what? One game he only went under 50 once. That must be roughly. Yeah, it must be.
It would be. Yeah.
Jesus, I did not know that. That's actually.
And that was game 1 of the year, which was 47. And yeah, other than that, did not go. Oh, actually, hold on. Well, geez, he had a 49 there too. So he had a 49.
Well, to be fair, he would have played like 20 odd games. So two under 50 sounds about right.
Maybe closer to 5%.
So I don't know about.
Is that 5%?
No, that means he would have had to play like.
Come on, guys, that's one.
What?
It's what. The the 96% would be one.
game.
That's
Hey,
fair.
we'll round it. Maybe round it up from 49 to 50. We'll call
Yeah,
it that.
maybe that
Let's
was
do that.
pre-updates or something.
Yeah. You call it, start these notes early.
There we go. All right, Aaron Clark. So there's a cross next to his name. Let's move on to Beau Fermor. I've seen a lot of interest in Beau Fermor at 650k.
2% owned.
Loses the duel. A lot of talk about him online though.
Okay.
Like a lot of people, they're saying, "Hey, this player is good, but
Have
I'm
a look
not
at
willing
him."
to buy him myself."
Yeah.
60 in base and power, which I feel like that's pretty good. He's a try scorer. I actually didn't finish my stats on this because what are your thoughts on him?
Okay. I don't have much highlighted, so I'm not in love with it. I've got a lot of notes here, but it'll be hard to delve through. But 21 games in the back row for an average of 70. We assume he's going to play in the back row. That's his spot. He only fills in when he fills in, and he's probably not going to have to. They're probably going to have more depth, I would imagine, with who they've got there in the squads. So maybe a little bit of value there, up to close to 3 to 5 points of value, but not much. It's a really good draw. I mean, Sharks, Finns, Cows, Dragons. I didn't go in as far to look at how much those sides concede to
Left back.
because I'm just not that keen on Beau Fermor, to be honest. I thought, well, we'll get some stats because we're probably going to chat about him. But at the price, 650k, there's no duel this season. I think season, which I think is half the appeal for him in the previous years. He only had 2 tons in 24 games, which is less than what Aaron Clark had. So I'm not interested.
Nah, I'm not interested either. And this is the type of guy for me that's just priced appropriately. The loss of if he had the duel, it'd be very, very, very tempting in that centre wing. But I don't think he's for me this year. I don't have an issue with anyone who starts with him. As you said, Timmy, there is at least some likely upside there, 3 to 5 points potentially. And that's never a bad thing, but I'm just probably looking for a bit more at this time of the season.
Bit more than 3 to 5.
Bit more at this stage of the year, yeah. Like mid-season, if I saw a guy that was underpriced, even 3 to 5 points, I might go, yeah, I think I can jump on him. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I won't start with him, that's for sure. But you made a good point that I hadn't looked too far into. That draw is really good, and it even goes a bit further. They play the Broncos and the Eels next, according to your notes, by the looks of it. And there's obviously the Broncos are a dangerous team, but they definitely can be opened up a little bit. And Para are a bit of an unknown commodity. We expect them to be pretty decent. Ryle's a good coach, but there's likely some points in all 6 of those games to start. The Sharks are probably the hardest one in round 1, and anything can happen in round 1. So, not for me.
I was doing some quick math just then.
Yes. Did we buy you enough time? I was trying.
Yeah, you did.
Cool.
I feel like I didn't get the answer I wanted. So Kieran Foran retiring is a big factor, I think, and him playing alongside him with the try scoring. Kieran Foran didn't start playing till round 11 because he was injured for the start of the year. He averaged 68.9 without Kieran Foran to start the year. Once Kieran Foran came in, he averaged less for 65.1. I was not expecting that at all. He actually had his biggest scores when Kieran Foran was not in the side, and he scored more tons. So what does that tell you? I don't know.
About time that Kieran Foran took his retirement at the right time or something like that. I don't know.
But like there's this mask or like this narrative that Kieran Foran fed him points, and I 100% he did that with Fafita, and I think the stats backed it up. But Beau Fermor is probably that guy that probably benefits off a running 5'8" rather than a Kieran Foran type guy. So, Kieran Foran kind of turned into that guy that would dig deep into the line and throw out the back rather than throw out the front to his back rower. So I like that maybe AJ Brimson's role might be simplified with early ball to Fermor.
I don't know about early ball. He might go through the line. He might go through the line and then find him 2-on-1 with the fullback kind of thing, that sort of thing as well. So it's definitely not a bad option.
I guess if you like Beau Fermor and you're worried about Kieran Foran not being there, then I don't think it's something to worry about. Yeah. That being said, it was a career year last year. He played Origin. A lot to like about him last year. I think to start this year, especially without the dual, I also think the days of the dual second row forward centre wing is gone in terms of, I'd get him in centre wing because our centre wingers are so high upside.
I probably would, though, to start the year. I know what you're saying
Yeah.
long term, and you do want to try and probably catch one or two of those guns who go on a early run, which happens every year. Garrick started pretty hot last year. Val started hot last year. Val started hot the year before. But, you know, it is nice for before the games start to open up, to have one of those type of guys in there. So I wouldn't say quite it's gone. It's just timing. I'd want them in early and then out once some prices drop.
I want to take a leaf from Les's book, and if he was 100k cheaper and centre wing, then I'd consider it. But
that would only make you consider it. He'd be straight in for me.
Come on, bro. You can't put shit on him and then
you are
actually
just
use
hanging
the
shit on
same
him.
stuff.
That's
You know what I mean?
ridiculous.
Apparently the comments are given to him. Speak up.
yeah, give it to me. Make sure you comment.
Now
please.
we're bullying and stuff. Like, I'm glad you bought your book, but what about that pen, bro? It's a nice pen. Do they make one for blokes?
What's wrong with my pen?
I got no problem with it. I'm just letting Timmy get his payback as he should.
Nothing
He
wrong
had to
with
sit
me.
here while you
It
sledged
takes a
Les
real
last
man
week.
to use a pink pen, man. That's right.
I'm used to touching many pink things.
Oh, Jesus Christ! No, you're not.
Haumole Olakau'atu, 600. I assume Beau Fermor is out of the green book, by the way.
Yeah.
Since you haven't done any
Yeah.
writing. Haumole Olakau'atu, 650k. Ola has played one game without DCE in the last 2 years.
Does offend me that we skipped.
Yeah,
Billy
you
Amy
just
kick out,
skipped Billy.
But no, you didn't want to talk about it.
I was gonna just say good idea. Look, there's a fair few in this that we can talk very quickly.
Yeah,
on and skip
I
through.
gave Timmy a bunch of players and highlighted
He wasn't
them.
in the.
Well,
short
I mean,
list.
the simple thing is he's got to buy in round
It does
two.
still offend me though, you know. But yeah, there
That's
is some
fair.
negative stats on him. He does go below 50.
So if you guys
60%.
skip one and I do want to talk about them, would you like me to throw in? If that's
Yeah.
the case, okay, cool. Because there's plenty we can skip. Don't worry about
He
that.
started really good
Cool.
though, kick out. I can say he averaged 75.5 in the first 3 rounds and 70 after the first 6 rounds. Like, he was a thing. He's turned in. He's not a joke anymore. Okay, he's a decent option. He does have some low ones, but he seems to average. If you hold on to him, play him out, he'll get your big ones will offset the low ones. But you either got to buy him and time him for his runs or ride him, and it takes a real loyal bloke to do that.
Are you considering him
No.
at all?
No, I'm not. I was trying to, but after doing my homework, no. But it just upset me that we weren't talking about him. But I will say the next bloke that we're going to talk about.
I saw him the other day, by the way. He was turning left.
Did you send my
onto-
regards?
Oh, well, I nearly said hi to him because
Did you tell him I've got
No,
a-
he was in the car.
Did you tell him I've got a 4X jersey
No,
or
no,
5XL
'cause
jersey I'm trying to give to him for the last 5 years?
I was in the car driving next to him. He was in the car and turning left, and I considered rolling my window down and saying, "Hey, Billy," but I felt awkward and just looked straight. So
Yeah, if you could get his home address so I could
That was a
post
hell
him
of
my
a story,
jersey, that'd
Sabs.
be great.
That was
a hell of a story.
yeah.
Thanks
He
for
was
adding that
driving
in
in
there.
Narellan, just so you know.
The next bloke we are moving on to, though, Olakau'atu.
Olakau'atu.
He's spoken about as such a legend of the game and such a super coach, wonderful guy. He goes under, his stats are basically kick-out stats. Like, it's the same. Like, he goes under 50, 60% of the time. He's got heaps of shit ones. He's got a couple of good ones.
It's a fair start. 650k,
Hold
one game without DC in the last 2 years. For 42, which is not a massive sample size, but without DC, it does worry me because their style of play is going to be very different. I assume if Seabold is a decent coach, which I think Seabold's smart. I think he doesn't get a lot of credit for what he does. I just think people don't buy into his systems, which is fair enough. You've got to be a rugby league guy to teach rugby league guys. I feel like if he's smart enough, Fogarty will stick to the game plan, give him early ball.
Yeah, Fogarty's also smart enough. He's proved that wherever he's played, he's been a good organizer. Early ball, he did a great job last year on their right edge. So I don't think Fogarty, yes, it is a bad thing he loses DCE, but it will be an interesting thing to see how close Fogarty plays specifically with Ola. I don't think he's going to be as creative, but he might also be he's probably a better kicker and better organizer, or as good an organizer as DCE. So I don't think that changes much. What I did note last year was that he had a couple of injury affected games. So he's another guy with a 3 to 5 probably point buffer that he probably will score. But I did hear today that he's still training with tape on that right shoulder, and it's an ongoing management thing, which is not ideal.
I hate that.
And they have the round 3 bye.
Yep.
It's just, I'd love to start. He's actually the type of guy. Timmy's right. He can be a sort of, he's spoken about a lot better than he really is. But if you can catch him at the right time, he's damaging. But so is Kickout.
He's
You're
definitely
right.
a gun. No,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying that he's the Viliami Kickout
No,
demands more
I
respect.
prefer others. I'm with you. You want them on certain runs at certain times of the year for specific reasons, or you're better off just paying up and getting those top boys.
Here's what I do have. 5 tries in 2025 for an average of 66.5. He scored 6 tries in 2024 for an average of 68. He scored 10 in 2023 for an average of 68.5. So he scored less and less tries while his average has gotten...
He's playing less and less games, though, too.
Yeah, that is true. But what I like about it is he's obviously developing his game. And just like Tino is, I feel like he's more than a 5 tries a year guy. And if he strings enough games together, I think he can be a good purchase at some point in time. I probably wouldn't consider him early, especially if you're going like a Karaz and a Tommy Turbo. I think that pretty much rules him out for me. But I think after that, there's every chance in maybe a little bit of a price drop early on, see how Manly play, and then, I would love him as a buy purchase.
He was someone I was off in the preseason last year, talked him down a bit and started with him. So I might have to chuck him in the green book.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Is he in?
No, probably not because of the early buy factor as well. Just the new combination with Fogarty. I'd rather just see how that settles in and goes. Still good. I feel like I've shit on him a little bit, and that's not what I was trying to do. I was just trying to lift up Kickow.
No,
that's fair.
I think you made your point right. I think you're right. Kickow and him are very similar. Very similar.
Start with him then.
Double dare me? Triple dare me, I'll do it.
I'm going to skip a couple. So if you want to bring someone up, Pat Carrigan we talked about in the front row forward episode. Jaden Sewer, I haven't really got much on him, but I feel like he was very consistent last year.
Yeah, I think
good
he'll be the
draft
same.
pick.
I think so. I think he'll be like just lock and load him, same thing.
Yep.
He'll give you the exact same stuff.
Yeah, and he was actually very surprising last year.
He actually scored similarly the year before in Supercoach as well. I know last year he kind of broke out as like a in game, like he was noticeably stronger and hit harder and stuff, but he scored almost the same the last 2 SC seasons, and I think he'll be bang on the same.
Bit of Shane Flanagan, like a teacher's pet kind of thing. Just
I
seems
don't know
like
about
he
that.
flourishes under the system.
I remember when we got him off South, I was so happy. Like I just knew that there was a really good footballer in there. So that's what I think he is.
You saw a lot in him.
Hey, I have missed your jokes. I actually was talking about this. I was saying it to the boys during the week. I was like, you know what? Can't wait till Sabs hits me with one of his terrible dad jokes.
He's a real wordsmith, Sabs. He likes his
He sits there and
puns.
looks at you and thinks about each word that comes out of your mouth. He's like, can I make a joke about that? No, next one. No, and that's just how it
That's right. That's right.
Seriously like that. It's not good sometimes. Sometimes making light of a serious situation is not the right thing to
I almost
do.
did one before and I pulled myself back. Or at least I had to exercise my filter tonight for once.
Look, comedy's comedy, boys. It's all right.
Yeah, you've got to hit the mark.
You can try and toe the line, but there's I don't think anyone's out to hurt anyone. So let's keep going.
Angus Crichton, 610,200. Averaged 64.5 until Sam Walker came back. He averaged 63.7 when Sam Walker returned. 1 try before Sam Walker returned versus 3 in the 7 games he had when Sam Walker was there. 45 in base, 64 in base power in 2024. 60 in base power, last year. 45 in base and 64 in 24. So it felt like he had such a breakout year the year before, yet it was very similar in base and power with 60 versus 64 the year before. It was just the tries that didn't come early on in the season. When Sam Walker returned, they did come, but the base kind of fell off a little bit because games were more open. There was a lot less work to do. So I think with Sam Walker in the side, it does help him a lot. But him signing that contract, it was a contract year in 2024, and he really busted out to prove himself. And he seems like the kind of guy who you probably do want on a contract year. And I think Grant was very keen on him at one point. And as soon as he signed that contract, kicked him to the curve.
It's exactly what happened, Savs. I looked at his stats last year and just thought, geez, I think a motivated, like he scored 4 tries last year. He scored 11 the year before. A motivated Angus Crichton would be, at 6'10", would be first in my side. So I actually built my back row around him till he signed the contract, and then I looked at the stats again and went, he had 1 score over 80 last year, and it was 83. And like people are saying, he's committed. He said to the Roosters, all right, I'm going to go out with a bang. I want to really, you can say that sort of thing, but it's a lot different to fighting for your next contract. Like that's still a positive thing. I'm sure he still will be the guy he was last year or similar, and maybe the Roosters find a way to use him a bit better and he does score a few more tries. But I don't want to bank on that on a guy who's not got that extra bit of motivation. With
someone like DCE last year, I feel like it did stump Manly, and like their team really it felt like they resented him just in the subconsciously, and DCE kind of wasn't giving it his all subconsciously as well, even though you can say you're 100% in and you could intend to be 100% in, whereas like someone like Angus Crichton, I think they're genuinely in a premiership window this year, so maybe there could be a little bit of a difference, because in a side like Manly, they probably weren't contending for a premiership last year just based on how the season went early on.
His attitude might be different too, because he's going out on his terms rather than kind of what with DCE as well.
Yeah, there's nothing hidden, is there?
Yeah.
It's already played out. So he's got there is. I did think there is the element of he's got it off his chest, which is a positive. But I just wonder, he was so good in 2024 playing for that contract. He just was like an absolute animal, and I don't know if I see that yet. I think I might rather wait and see if that does come out.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit interested, because I think it is that little sweet spot, that price. When you start looking at guys like 670, it starts a little bit awkward. They're almost like it's pretty affordable. And when you compare what he did last year compared to the year before, it's such a big difference, which is kind of positive in a way, because it just shows what is capable, and it's only just 1 year off. And I know he was playing for the contract and everything like that, and he sort of was basically reborn that year after having a bit of a down period the year prior. I just think that there was a big enough gap where he can, even if he doesn't meet what he did in 2024, that he could maybe go halfway, so there's potentially still value. I don't think he's going downward from here, and I think he at least matches it easily.
Yep.
The thing I love about him too is that below the 50 points, he only does that 80% of the time. He goes above 50 points 80% of the time. And he did that both last year and the year prior. So he's very consistent in that, whereas when we're talking about Kikau and Olakau'atu, they're only at 60%. So there's a big gap there. So, he's reliable, and it's just a matter of him. He's going to get those consistent scores. It's just a matter of him getting that upside now, and I think it's available there. With just the sides that they've got, and I think he'll go out with a bang. That's my vibe. I like it. Yeah, he had. What else did I have? He had
that gap wasn't for you to keep going.
The 2020
we're waiting for.
Sorry, the 2024 season as well. And what was so good about that is he started the season being eased into that year.
Yeah.
So he had a few games at the start of the year where he only played 25 and 26 minutes in the first couple of games. So his average, you take them out for that year, jumped from 77.5 to 83.5. So it's even a bigger gap now of what's possible.
I think just with him, that's irrelevant in my opinion, because he had the whole chance last year to do it, yet it didn't come. The thing I do like about him is the circumstances have changed, and Sam Walker is back in the side.
Yeah, but I just don't think it. Yeah, what I'm saying is, even though it doesn't come, it's not. He's not going anywhere. He's at his floor now.
Yeah,
so
I think he's at his floor.
He can't go worse. It's only there's only upside.
Yeah,
and the price is good too.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's a big green book one for me. I think I could potentially try find an extra 100K somewhere when I've got one of these mid-ranger guys to get 100K, like downgrade a gun hooker to a mid-range hooker to get him in instead or something, if I think my other hookers could match, say, a Harry or something like that.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a pre-season watch for me, how motivated he looks, and early on, I don't believe I'll start with him at this point, but I actually, your point is right, and it's the same thing I was thinking. There's not downside to it. The question we always ask ourselves in the preseason is, just because someone doesn't have downside, does that mean they have upside? And I know you ask that question all the time. You were talking about it with starting Isaah Yeo last year. How you said, I know the good thing is there's unlikely to be downside. Now that obviously that did play out differently, but your mindset was, but I don't want. You weren't looking for upside.
Not going to have a bad time, but there could be a good time in this.
That's exactly right. And I do believe that, though again we were wrong with that last year, I do believe Crichton fits that category this year for sure. I don't have an issue with starting with him at all.
Tick him in the green book then. I'm interested for sure, but I'm not ecstatic.
Same price as Isaah Yeo too.
Isaah Yeo. So let's move to Isaah Yeo. 610,100, 67 in base and power in 2024 versus 59 last year. So 8 points down on his base and power average from the year before. 1 try in round 1 in 2025 and 3 try assists versus 2 tries in 2024 and 6 try assists in 2024. And my gut vibe was telling me something, and I went and dug deeper. In 2025, he had 615 receipts for the whole year at an average of 29.3 touches a game. He averaged 18.66 in runs in total in the whole game. So compare that to the year before. He had 833 touches in the year at an average of 33.3. So he was having 4 touches more per game, but he was averaging more in runs in 22 per game. So what that's telling me is he's touching the ball less with less intent to run. And I looked at like my gut vibe was telling me the 5'8", so I looked at the 5'8" as well. Blaze in 2025 had 787 touches at 35.8 touches a game, whereas Luai had 1,238 touches at an average of 51.6 touches a game. So what that tells me is Isaah Yeo has taken on this role where Jerome Luai used to crab the field, come in, turn a player under, and a lot of passing before hitting the line. I feel like he's taken on a lot of that role and he's running less, and I think that's going to be his role in the future because they nailed it by the end of the season with how they kind of did their play, and Blaze Slungy is a much different 5'8" to what Jerome Luai is. And I think that's what they struggled with early on, so that's why Yeo was okay early on. He scored that try early on, but it just didn't look like he was likely later on in the season. So for me, it seems like it's his floor. It seems like this is he can only go up from here, but I think this is about what he is at, just based on his role.
Yeah, and I think this one makes more sense for him to sort of stay in this category because of that role factor. It's not like Angus had a role factor. I think it's just more that he had a breakout year that was so great last year. I mean, and it just didn't really happen for him. They just didn't seem to want to attack that way last year. They just weren't trying it as much, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe that'll stay the same with Angus. But looking at Isaah Yeo, 65% of the time under 50. So Angus was doing that 80% of the was going over 80%, and Isaah Yeo only 65. So that's a bit of a gap. And then compare that to Isaah Yeo the year prior. 100% of the time he'd score over 50.
Yeah.
It was only 65% of the time last year. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then over 60 in 2024, he did that 90.5% of the time, and then last year only 53% of the time. It's a massive difference. And then if you look at his big ones, so going over scores of 90 was 19% of the time in 2024. This is why I was keen on him to start last year. And then last year he only did it 6% of the time. Yeah. This is massive in every
and that
threshold.
score was a 90 and it was in round 1.
Yeah, and so I was like, look at me. I'm
I've nailed this one.
SuperCoach champion right here, 2021.
Well, you can actually say that, so yeah.
Well, at least you can say that you're first once as well.
Yeah, true.
Not me.
True, but it's not quite the same, is it, really? I was ranked first.
You were
in
ranked
round
first.
8 or something.
What year was that? 2022?
22, yeah.
Your name in our group chat is still number 29 because you're ranked 29th after a bit because you're number 1, and then it kept changing week after week, and then someone just
changed it to 29.
Just ended up forgetting to change it after that. So it's been like that forever
29. Since
then.
No, I think those points are good, Timmy. And again, something that everyone should be doing this stage of the preseason. If you put 2 guys that are in a similar price bracket to eliminate people, if you put Yeo next to Angus Crichton right now, who are you boys taking?
Angus Crichton, hands down.
Angus, yeah.
So, and I think that's as simple as it needs to be for people. If you just once you look at the numbers and put them next to each other and just go, I don't see it with one of these guys, then you can at least he's out of the pool kind of thing. You know what I mean?
All right, we've got to cross through him, but one person that I'm surprisingly keen on that I didn't think I would be is Kipios Paul at 604,500. If it wasn't for the round 1 bye, I'd be talking about him a lot more seriously. He hardly offloaded last year, and he had a base power of 60. I know for a fact his game is a lot more pizzazzy than that. Oh, why did I say pizzazzy? A lot more. He's a lot more out there than that. And you can tell he's just been directed to play a certain way. There was times at the Newcastle Knights where he'd have the arm free, he had someone on his leg and someone right behind him, and he'd still tuck the ball under and take the tackle. I think in a side like the Tigers under Benji, who encourages free-flowing footy, encourages you to play your own game, I think there's a lot to like about Kipios Paul. The round one bye is tricky, but 604K, I think I like him more than Angus, but the round one bye really does put me off because I think the idea of SuperCoach is to start hot. And if it doesn't work out, then you've had to wait an extra week for that to play out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I know you've said that you're more keen on him than Angus, but I'm still more keen on Angus because if I'm looking at two guys that are quite similar and you kind of want, we're talking a shorter period of time, let's not think of season-long averages, right? You've got the bye, which is the biggest reason, but you've also got to look at the quality of the sides. I think the Roosters are a better side than the Tigers, and in that case, I think they're probably going to score more points early on than the Tigers, and therefore I think that I would probably still pick Angus Crichton, even if they didn't have a bye. But it would be much, much closer. I see your point. I think there would be a B's in it.
I've got just basic stats on him, nothing really impressive. So he's better than that over 50, for not cop and crap ones. He does that 81% of the time. So
I feel like that's a good floor to work with considering I feel like he hasn't quite hit his ceiling yet.
He's just on the start of his trajectory, and I feel like looking at this, I would expect to see next year his score's probably going to be average better. You know what I mean? Just there is more potential there, and I love what you say about the Benji factor of him giving them, free range to play their style of game and
look at Terrell May, for example.
Be comfortable to make mistakes and stuff.
Yeah, come over last year, really didn't put the offload away. Yeah, he lost his try scoring kind of ability, but he gained so much more. And Kipios Paul really didn't score any tries at the night, so I don't think there's much to be lost there. And they've struggled for that right edge position to be filled. So I think they'll be really excited and really happy to utilise. And Samuel Olakau'atu kind of didn't kick on last year, so I really expect them to go to him as their strike edge.
Maybe a cheeky one just to keep an eye on at the start of the year. Try to find the right time to bring him in. I think 604K to start the season on a risky play like him that's, has a bye the first round's a bit much. So it makes sense why he's only 1% owned.
If he was playing in round one, I'd heavily consider it.
As a real cheeky pod, maybe, yeah.
I think for me, he's definitely in my draft plans potentially. I'm doing a draft day 2 days before the Sports Shed charity match, February 20th at Swing City, Bella Vista. A lot of content creators going to be there, Clarkey, SC Whisperer, Sean Deviney, him?
SC Whisperer.
You keep trying to sneak him in because I know that you are a big fan of
Whisperer.
No.
Isn't he from Short Stack?
He's from Short Stack.
Yeah, and I know how much of a fan of Short Stack you were.
I didn't know who they were.
That's fucking baloney, that is.
Excuse me. So Whisperer, you're going to be seeing him at that event and then the game.
Oh yeah.
You guys should have a sleepover.
It's 2 days later, so a 2 day sleepover.
Okay, 2 day sleepover, that's fine.
2 day sleepover. Yeah. He lives in Sydney now. He doesn't need to sleep over.
Oh, it could be fun. Have a pillow fight.
Could tackle him very hard.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, your opposition. Good luck. See what happens.
So where was I going with this? Draft. For sure, he's in my draft sites for that day in particular.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Cheeky pod.
I'm trying to keep these ones that are... There's a solid reason, just to a little bit of discussion about where we might pick them up and then keep moving, because there's still a fair few to go.
Yeah, 100%. Let's try and go a bit faster, because
there are some... if we know we're not doing them, we can skip those ones.
Green Book. Is he Green Booking?
No.
Oh.
Sorry, bro.
Oh, sorry. All right. Britt Nickera. Price of the 60, averaging 63 up until the concussion, 52 in base and power. If we think Sharks are going to do well, there's nothing to really back him up here, except we know he's a try scorer. We know on that edge he's good. If they've got a good draw and we think so, then he could be okay. But the Billy Burns factor does worry me.
Yeah, it worries me. He's the same every year. You just got to wait until he gets into the season. Pick him on his run.
Gets to 480K.
Yeah, and you I almost guarantee it'll just be like clockwork. You can never guarantee it, but I bet you at some point we all go, roughly about now or a week from now, Nicker is in my side, and then you'll get him for a few tries, and you just go, yep, cool, he's done exactly what he's done for the last 4 years.
He's in my side for the rest of the year.
Yep. Yeah, you would end up with him at your 5th or 6th 2RF because you've run out of trades by round 23, but that's...
Yeah, and then he'll end up being my second with no one...
Yeah, with the weeks, yeah. Yep. I actually, I don't know how much... Have you guys touched on Talis Duncan at all in the preseason?
Well, we skipped over him. I thought he was kind of a good thing too.
I actually wrote stats on him. I just missed him.
I just wanted to point out, and I think it's probably everyone's probably already covered it or will cover it, but it was a tale of two halves of the year, wasn't it? Like first half of the year till round 13, he averaged 57 minutes and only 40 points. And from that point on, he averaged 82.2 in 80 minutes a game, 12 games, 500s, 9 tries, 2 assists. That's ridiculous numbers. Like, that's upside numbers.
55 in base and power.
Very strong base power. Obviously, the only thing is he's going to be
right side.
On the right side. Yep. But the positive of Defeef being on the left is that, and I know that Bunny's traditionally right back rower isn't particularly relevant, but the positive about them being on the left is they've got to go right at some point to shift left, and they're not going to want to go too wide. So I think Talis could be in that right spot to be busy and potentially score tries.
Yep.
But also just the fact that he'll probably play 80.
Yeah.
If one of the back rowers is going to get less minutes, you'd have to think they're keeping Defeef a bit fresher. So,
and on that's
just my view.
If you think he's playing 80, 15 of the 22 games where he played 80 minutes, he averaged 75.5, and he's priced at 61. So
yeah, I know we can't all fit many more bunnies in our side, but I actually had a really, really good look at him over Angus Crichton in that area, to be honest.
And I would prefer him way more than Kipios Paul, just because of how, he just burst, on the back end of that last year. He was scoring tries.
And it is hard, it is like the Reece Walsh thing, right? It's hard to imagine someone I don't think he's going to just go and do that again by any stretch, but he's not priced at that. He's only priced at a 61 average.
Once a player realises what they're capable of, though, I think that's something that they continue to look for.
And he's always been talked about really highly as well.
He's always had the ability.
Yeah, he's always been talked about as like the next Murray kind of thing,
but not even that. Those 2 kickoffs tries that he scored, one against the Tigers.
I remember. I don't remember 2 of them, but I remember one.
One short or something?
Oh, I don't know, but he ran the length of the field to score a try as a middle forward. And just he's always had this talent, just hasn't really been able to kick on. And it feels like this is one of Wayne's people that has really kicked on. It does worry me, Ewan Aiken on the bench.
I think that'll be Defeef's rest.
Yeah, I think so.
But they could easily do like a 3-way rotation as well. So it's certainly far from a locked-in 80.
40 minutes, and they could play 60 each.
Yep, of course. So it's definitely a watch. But I just saw those stats, and when I broke it down into him sort of finding his way into his role and then earning that role, I was like, wow, those numbers are crazy. 500s in 12 games.
Do you think there's a chance he plays the best role in SuperCoach and Aiken comes onto the edge and he comes into the middle?
If they start to lose people, yes. While they're full strength, I doubt it. Just because with Murray back and everyone fit, I think he's...
Timmy's writing him, so...
Oh, yeah.
I do like him as well.
He's honestly my 3rd favourite back rower right now.
I think we've just got to wait and see it play out.
590.
Is it risky to start with him?
No, I don't think it's risky to start with him, but I don't think you have to start with him either. Like, I do think he's the type of guy that you could, it's not like he's going to be crazily out of reach within 2 or 3 weeks, right? So
yep.
He played a bit at centres too, so it's not really that interesting but I just thought I'd flag it because people might be curious.
He did ton up in the game.
He had 10 games in the back row, which were all 80-minute games, and he averaged 74.5. He had 5 games in playing centre. They were 80-minute games as well. It actually increased to 77.5. So it's very much of a muchness, but I thought people might have been aware that he had played in different positions or wondering how that had affected it. So I just thought flagged it, not much affected there.
All right, in the green book. I like it. All right, Cameron Murray, 548,900. It feels like he was in everyone's team to start the year. But looking deeper, I feel like a lot of people have gone cold on him. And for good reason, I think. Averaged 62 in 2024, which was his minutes high of 69 minutes per game. I like him as a player, and I think he's great, but there's a lot of red flags in that middle rotation.
Yeah, for sure.
So 69 minutes averaged for 62. Really, if he plays 69 minutes based on that, then he's probably not much value. So I think it's a wait and see, and potentially maybe get him after Origin, potentially for a cheaper price maybe, or maybe he kills it to start the year, plays 80 minutes and he's healthy, and then we just all eat our words. But I think he's also one, like you said, you don't really need to start with him.
I think it could go either way. He's currently in my side. He was one of the ones I haven't really tweaked my side much from what I started with when Team Picker first came out. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure what sort of minutes and how that's all going to be affected, so I can't really comment on that. I'll just have to take your guys' caution and be aware of that. But yeah, he's had 43 games at lock between 2022 and 2024, where he averaged 68 points at lock. So he's priced at like a 55, 56 sort of point. So there's potentially, it's just a matter of the minutes and just how well he returns, I guess, and that's only what individual opinion and speculation can come down to. So I'm not too sure. I'm sort of feel like it couldn't go too wrong at the price. So like if I was struggling to fill that spot and couldn't really spend extra, I probably would like to find some extra money for how much we talking. Talis Duncan, we're talking the Green Book. How disrespectful on the ground.
Did you the Green Book's just rolled over.
Did you knock it off or did Tim knock it off?
I think I knocked it off.
The Green Book's just rolled
That's
over.
concerning.
Yeah, about 50k more for Talis Duncan. And I probably would like to prefer to go with that just for that upside and knowing that he's quite fit and primed.
Yep.
But
The one good thing with Murray is he did come back at the end of last season. Like he didn't just
give it back. Stop taking notes.
he
No, I opened to a page and the heading was late night thoughts.
Get out of it,
And
bro.
I was like,
Did not say that, did it?
no, but it led with Tom Duffy is in my side. Or
No, it didn't.
so
something like that.
So yeah, Murray coming back in round 27 last year says to me that he got a full off season.
Yep.
Obviously. But
I like that he played that game last
yeah,
year.
it was. I mean, it was good to. I wouldn't have done it personally. I would have just said, "Please, Cam."
Did you find it?
No,
I
but
would-
now that I know there's stuff like that in there, I'm a bit...
No, but it was about Supercoach, not.
Oh, okay,
not
cool.
like-
I thought it was like, Dear Diary.
No. It was Supercoach related, which I
Cool.
find way more dribbly, which is great.
I wouldn't have brought Cam back in round 27 last year,
Yeah.
but it's his call. He's the club
was his
captain.
call.
He's the club captain, and I just there's no real negatives about having him. Again, he fits that Angus Crichton mold of he's not going to go down anywhere. But I think with the fact he's only down 10% on last year's starting price, if he was 20%, it'd be fine because they usually do that. But I get what they were trying to achieve here. They're trying not to have him be 100% owned in round one.
It's funny how with how Supercoach works that they with all the rules they try and make it easier, but with all the positioning and prices they try and make it harder. Like
I think it's
pick your poison.
Well, I think they've got to try and make the entry level easy and the winning difficult.
That's
so
fair.
it's not easy.
Yep.
It's not easy for them. They don't always get it right, but they it's a big job.
Yep.
And yeah, I think Murray's just. I think we made all the points.
Yep, green booking.
He's in his team.
Yep. All right. Kitione Katonga, 537,900. Priced at a 55, average 60 and 80-minute games. I like him. I don't love him, not considering him at the price. I just thought I'd flag it because I feel like he's someone I was hot on last year, and I think another year in the preseason with the Jonah Pez alongside him will probably benefit him. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't see how it couldn't
Pretty
hurt
sure
him.
he played left, but I remember Jack Williams playing left as well, so I don't know.
Well, we know Moses is going to play. I think Katonga played both sides at times. I think he actually swapped. They just had so many injuries. Blokes were playing everywhere. Guymer was bloody Charlie Guymer was on the right edge and ended up looking somewhat okay. So there's no issue with if people are sort of looking at him, but Para's pack is an unknown, and it's probably one of the packs I'm actually trying to avoid. Jack Williams, another one who's already been spoken about by you guys in the preseason, but he's another just unknown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to think that he's an option. I don't know what to make of Paris.
Showed potential at different glimpses, didn't he? When he sort of broke the line.
How fast is he for a forward?
Yeah.
He's rapid.
I love Jack
Wow.
Williams.
Yeah, I know you do. I love him as well.
Yeah, he's a good player, and I love his versatility. And I think just with that forward pack for Parramatta, like Jermaine Hopgood,
They've just got so many guys like back and add in DeBellin. Like it's
DeBellin.
a lot of them are middles, but that impact on the middle is when you've got more solid middles, you tend to carry an extra back rower who then plays out wide. And,
pushes Williams out to an edge potentially for more minutes. So I think, you're right. Avoiding that pack is probably smart. Like Jermaine Hopgood looks like a great purchase, but I think you've got to avoid it. Just
same issue for me. Exactly.
I think he could potentially increase his average this year.
I would like.
Just because like he had.
What are you talking about?
Kipios Paul.
Oh yeah, okay.
He had it's like his first year sort of thing, and he had quite a lot of low scores that I feel like he might be one of those guys like a kick out that has those low ones in him, and that'll just be his thing. But I feel like some of these guys just sort of have those in their first season while they're working themselves out. So if he can get rid of some of those. He scores over 70. He goes over 71 in 4 games, which I think is pretty solid. And then, over 60 is nearly 50%. So
well, his base power got better throughout the season. So he started in his first 7 games that he played. He didn't have a base power points per minute of over 0.73, and in his last 8 games, he only had 2 under 0.73. So he basically sort of worked out. Whether that was because he swapped sides or whatnot, but clearly he started to feel himself more, get himself more involved, get more touches, and that's never a bad thing. You make a good point. You know, guys are only going to get a guy like him's only going to get better for having more minutes. So I don't think there's I don't think he's going to go backwards. I can't start with him not knowing the minutes. I need to know the minutes.
And I think the people have spoken in reflecting that he's 0% owned currently. So if you're looking for a pod, there's one. But Not for us. Not for us.
Yep.
Not just yet. But I think he did show like mad glimpses when he was trusting himself too. With a bit of upside.
We ran through the line a couple of times at the back end of the year. Parrell, when they sort of were throwing the ball around, he was one of the guys who seemed to keep popping up with, poke his head through. So
and I didn't think he was that kind of guy. I just thought he was a real meat and potatoes. I was like, what's that? Well, I was like, I couldn't believe they even trusted him at the start of the year, putting him in second row.
No, I agree.
But he showed he's decent. See how he goes. Good luck.
All right, Kitiona Katonga Green Book?
No.
Not for me.
All right. There are 2 guys that I'm very keen on right here. Connelly Lemuelu, 529,100. I think very similar to the Para Pack. Very, very clustered, a lot of mouths to feed, but he averaged 80.3 in games over 70 minutes, which was only 3 games, mind you. Base power of 42 in the games he did play, a PPM of 1.11. So if he gets minutes, like he's a genuine watch. And I hate when people say, watch this guy. He's a genuine, like, keep an eye on him and get ready to pounce when you realise his role is locked in.
Yeah, well, I mean, what else are you meant to say, really? Some people just are watchers. It is the case. I know it's where we're at in the preseason, right? At this stage, you're trying to talk through so many guys, and just lots of them are wait and see and watchers. It's not nothing that you're right about it. It's actually he needs the role.
I feel like the stigma in the NRL space of saying watch this kid. I think all these NRL content creators saying, oh, watch this kid, and they know nothing about him, like just to give themselves insurance that, hey, I discovered this guy first. I think that's more so the style I'm doing it. Whereas, like, if you're saying,
do you want to call out anyone in particular, or
no? There's no one in particular.
Sure, it sounds like you have a couple of names on your lips.
There's no one in particular that says that. But
good.
I feel like if you're saying watch someone, what's the reason? Like, what are you watching for? It's in SuperCoach.
Tell us what to watch for. You mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
Well, Lemuelu's an absolute beast. Like when he gets minutes, but the problem is he doesn't seem to ever stick to that. Like that, it seems like coaches have either worked out that he's more impactful in those shorter minutes, and he's not an 80 minutes guy, but he is good in the minutes he plays, or he's got competition, and I don't think either of those things would have changed in this offseason. But he did score. Yeah, he scored 9 tries and got 4 tries this last year in 20 games. That's as good as most of those starter guys we were talking about. Your Prestons and Hudson Young scored 10, 11 tries in 20 games, and they were playing 80 minutes every week. So his tries per minute are really strong.
The try line, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But he's just
the Gilberts of the world are going to come back in. Plath.
They got that Knowles now
that's
up there.
The minutes thing is a concern.
Yeah, it's just how many. I mean, their pack's going to be pretty good when those guys are back.
He probably misses out.
But looking at him though, there's definitely potential there because he only played an average of 49 minutes last year.
Yeah.
Previous seasons, he averaged 72 minutes the year before, and he averaged 68 minutes the year prior. So they have put trust in him. It's not like he can't do that.
Well, have they? Because it was his first year at the Dolphins.
That's what it is. I think he's a different. I think that says
Different
that he's
role
a
at the
different player
Dolphins.
or a different. He's got that sort of enforcer or
Because his
aggressive
minutes
one.
were at the Cowboys before that.
No, I think the year before he played at the Dolphins.
Oh,
didn't
he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
they
think he's-
like him.
I think his work rate and everything must have just like they've either got through to him and he's changed how he's doing it, or they've said to him, "We're going to play you less minutes, but we want you to like run through walls rather than we're going to play you 80 minutes every week and just kind of trot around."
And it sucks for SuperCoach, but sometimes that just works for
Oh,
players.
there's a lot of teams that play one 80-minute edge and a 50-30 split where the guy who plays 30 might also play a little bit of middle or something like that. Like the Panthers do a pretty good job of it.
Yeah.
But, Liam Martin's the 80-minute. Well, when he's healthy, plays 80 minutes on the right, and Sorensen and IPAP and they have guys running through walls on that left edge, and it works for them. It's just different teams used it differently.
Who is their other edge? Was it it was Finny Fuiaki a bit last year? It was Oren Keeley.
yeah.
Oren Keeley was
Tafwa.
training.
He played a bit on the edge.
Yeah, he moved to the Broncos this year.
Yeah, but I mean those are the guys that are out there.
I saw Oren
Max
Keeley.
Plath was there to start the year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Plath
I saw
played out
Oren
there.
Keeley was starting with the training side last week, which I feel like is the best decision. Like I feel like he's the best edge at the club. Oren Keeley and Lemuelu. But whether they go on Oren Keeley because he's going to the Melbourne Storm next year is still don't know. If that's
Playing the
gonna
long
happen.
game, Yeah, another thing just to point out, it's just still going on his minutes. There was 4 of the games he played last year under 30 minutes, which is pretty ridiculous, which really takes away from... It's a big chunk, 4 out of his 20 games is what... I don't know the percentage of that. It's a 1 in 5, isn't it? Is that 1 in 5? Smell that?
Yeah, you're right.
There we go. Send him through to... level me up to the next maths level.
Advanced maths.
Yeah, that's right. And then 14 games...
Advanced Platts.
That's right. 14 games were under 50 minutes. So, yeah, it just depends on the role. Their team's so versatile. They've got so many different options where everyone seems they can plug a different spot. And
It'd be a great price to start with him, but just the uncertainty. Like minutes is something you don't want to risk.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? You've
Yeah.
got to get value early. You've
Yeah.
got to. I'd rather have someone who I have more certainty over, who has less upside in most of my first early picks, as long as I know the minutes are good. If I think they've got, if I think they could play similar minutes, then I'll always take the guy with more upside. But if I go, this guy's probably a little bit less likely to average 15 more a game, but he should average 8 or 10. Versus a guy who could get, who could go nowhere or could get 15. I'll take the safe guy
which
early.
makes sense at the start of the season.
Early in the year, yeah. Later in the year, that changes.
Yeah, it's very similar to Jermaine McEwen, who's 407,000, who didn't play 80-minute games all last year. He's priced at a 40. He's going to get 80 minutes this year, so it's guaranteed
Well, we think
pick.
he is, yeah.
If he averages 35, then like that, you sell him. But at least you got the role.
Yeah.
If he averages 35 in the first 2 or 3, you kind of still hold on to that for a couple of rounds. Whereas if a Lemuelu does exactly what you expect him to do, but the minutes aren't there, then it's a bit frustrating in that kind of sense.
You kind of go, well, at least I got the role right. That's the one that you want early. I agree with that.
Smell like shit in here or something? Can you smell that?
No?
Is it lollies?
No, I don't know. Sorry.
That's all right.
All right. His green book, is he? Like, he's got to be on the edge of it.
Well, I don't know he's in the green book to start the season.
Yeah.
He's more of keep an eye on him, and if his minutes...
Give him a watch.
Give him a watch. If there is a certain role there and we can see that when he's given more minutes, he's got great opportunity, then that's when I'd put him in a different book, maybe not the green book to start the season, but one to sort of watch.
Sil Wong, 524,700, averaged 67 in his first 5. Need him to start hot to make 100K before Radley returns, or potentially hold on to his edge spot because that is the risk. He averaged 61.5 before his minutes plummeted. He's priced at a 52.5. I think this is the year for Sil Wong if he wants to take that position or lock down his edge role. This is the year for him, and it feels like this is his year to make a fist of it. DCE on his side as well, which I love. We saw what DCE did with Olakau'atu and just knew how to put the second row into space and also know when to give him early ball. I like Sil Wong a lot this year. I just don't like the Radley suspension.
Yeah, I don't think I just don't see how he gets enough minutes. That Roosters pack's too strong at full strength. There could come a time again where that changes, but it's way too strong to just expect him to get 80 early on. He might not need 80 to improve a bit, but you kind of want those guys to be getting really big minutes early on. He's got a super SC friendly game when he does get the minutes. Seems to always trot out scores, but I think I'll sit on him this year and wait for Angus to leave next year. And I reckon having this conversation in 12 months, that could actually be when he really does break out, and he might become the 80-minute guy, and someone else is on that other edge for lower minutes. So that's where I'm at the moment with him.
That's fair enough. There's a lot of red flags there, and just because you like someone so much, it doesn't mean you have to ignore the red flags.
The SC community loves him, mate. Like we all want him. We kind of want him to do well because he actually is enjoyable. He's an enjoyable watch. He's always busy. You can always he's got that big hair. You can see him everywhere, and like you want him to do well, but I just don't quite see it just yet. Angus Crichton is a lock to play 80 minutes on the left, so if they're going to rotate, it's going to be his side.
Sonny Bill Wong.
Yeah, he did have a few games that were injury affected at the start of the year. 2 of those were low minutes, 18 and 12 minutes. 4 games at the back end of the year were under 55 minutes, where maybe that is his role. What they will shape in to start this year.
That's how long it probably took them to get fit. Like that shows you how long the Roosters were not fit for. Because I think that might have been what they wanted. They wanted maybe Nat Butcher or Radley to be on that edge mainly, and it took them that long before they finally got to.
Yeah, so I think that's a fair reflection of maybe where he is at. The 14 games that he did play big minutes, where he averaged 77 minutes in those 14 games, his score only jumped a tick. It only jumped up to 60 points. So it's not like he necessarily
blew it out of the park. Yeah, makes
those
sense.
extra minutes. So,
and he's not just an exclusively an edge though. He filled in the middle when he came off the bench as well. So,
but I feel like you'd want him having those bigger minutes to give him the best opportunity to have as many chances to convert those opportunities to like attacking points.
No, I think that's right. That's what you want from your edges, right? You kind of go, well, unless they're like an absolute wrecking ball like Dave Fafita, you kind of go, the more minutes, the more opportunity they have out there, the more time that I've got for them to accumulate, because it's more of an accumulation.
Last one. Leka Halasima, Leka the Wrecker. He is a tick above 500k, priced at a 51, but averaged 62 in 80-minute games. Grant, you said at one point in the preseason that he's a must-have.
Yeah, I did say he's a must-have if he gets 80. I did. There's a little caveat on that. There's 2 reasons for that. One, he goes at 0.76 base power, so when you compare it to your Hudsons, they're at that's 0.8, so talking 65. So you're already looking at 60 points in an 80-minute game. And 2, he scored 12 tries in 24 games last year, so he scored at the same rate that those guys did, but he was only playing 56 minutes a game. Again, his tries, we talked about Lemuelu's tries per minute. His would be, you extrapolate that out, we're talking 16, 17 tries in 24. You're looking at like...
That's an extra 400 minutes based on 60-minute games.
Basically, yeah. Yep. And you look, 20 extra minutes a game. So
5 extra games.
Basically. So you're looking at, 12, as I said, 16, 17 tries, let's say. And that type of, those 2 numbers combined, that big base power and that many tries, resembles an awful lot like a prime David Fafita in my eyes. And I'm not saying he'll get there. I don't know if he'll play 80 this year, but that's what we're talking ceiling level. We're talking prime.
I think so for sure.
We're talking prime. And I think that, to be honest, I think they might be a bit silly if they don't play him 80, but the Waz do have some depth in their edges.
Yeah, like Cameron Gannon.
3rd time's the charm, Savs.
Yeah, he's the most similar player to David Fafita, and potentially, like, I'm saying Dylan Lucas, this could be his actual breakout year, because you feel like players have broken out and then they go to another level the year after.
I just want him to play 80, hey. I just think he'd be... he's also another one that's just like so watchable. Yeah. Some of the tries he scored last year, ridiculous. We all remember like the highlight ones, right?
Hero
like
sort of stuff, hey, like, yeah.
And he just kept doing it.
And he's all of what, 19?
Yeah, it needs to be, all of his tries that were like that need to be put out. Did you ever know that you're my hero?
Because he was so young, though, they were very mindful of not playing him 80 minutes.
Yes.
And they were very vocal about that. But towards the end of the year, when they actually needed him, he did play a lot more 80-minute games towards that back end.
Well, they even took it. He did for a stretch there. And then I think there was about 4 or 5 rounds to go, and they kind of got everyone back, where he was only playing 40, 45 minutes. Like his last 4 games, he played 42, 48, 25, 46, and sorry, the last game he did play 74. But I think he filled in the centres in that game. So he played. There was heaps of games last year where he played way under sort of 50 minutes, even though he averaged 55, 56 minutes for the season. So I don't know. There's just something about him that just says to me, like, if I'm going to gamble on upside and I think he's going to get 80 minutes, that's the guy over Lemuelu that I want to take it on, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And, he just feels like he's that guy that, I mean, it's clear as day with the eye test, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
First 5 games he was easy in big time last year, all under 40 minutes. He averaged 55.5 minutes for the season, which will naturally increase somewhat. Whether it's too closer to 80 or not, we'll yet to see. But when playing a minimum of 50 minutes, which he did 12 games of that 24, so half the time, he averaged 60 points. So I mean, there's good value there in him being priced at like a 51. So about 9 points worth of value there. And then when playing 80-minute games, he had 8 games playing 80 minutes, and it only jumped a tick to 62.5 when playing that full echelon of games. But yeah, there was 5 particular games that stood out for me, like no massive tons or anything like that, but scores of 72, 82, 76, 86 and 90, just really good scores. And I think if he's playing those like more trusted minutes consistently, it's just going to come. He's just a beast.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I do think I had a look at his base power in some of those games, and I will say when he played 80, his base power did drop a little bit, but not substantially. It wasn't like, when he was out there playing those big minutes, he just didn't work at all. Yeah. It was just like, young guy.
He had to hold himself back a little bit.
Yeah. But what I did notice is he didn't score like his try scoring was unpredictable. He'd often score tries as much in lower minute games as big minute games. So I don't know whether that's because maybe he was able to play a slightly different role or be a bit more aggressive. There's definitely some flags there. So I'm not saying that hey, everyone pick him right now. We've got it's a free second David Fafita. I'm just saying that those stats look an awful lot like what he did before he broke out. And I think
reminds me of Tasmanian Devil. Tasmanian Devil spins around. He goes straight, as equally as hard as the Tasmanian Devil spins.
It's a lot like these other packs that we're trying to avoid, the Warriors pack.
Yep.
But the difference with these players, like we're looking at Katonga, just worried about his minutes and rotation, and Isaah Wong. I think the difference here is Halasima is clearly the best player there.
That's what it looks like
to
me
as well.
And a
future superstar.
Yeah, he looks
not
like
just
a generational edge back rower to me.
It's not about what, it's about when.
Yep.
So...
Yep. And that's a test, right? They as I said it before I sort of started my ramble, they do genuinely have a bunch of back rowers who are still pretty good. Like they've got Capewell, they've got Laban. I'm not going to say his name again before you, because I know what you'll say. They do have another Pom, and they've got Niokore. But again, Capewell and Niokore are older guys. I think Niokore is still pretty good. I think Capewell's, if he's keeping him out at 80, I'm a bit worried about it.
Do they need these guys playing in the middle though? Because they've got James Fish-Harris, Mitch Barnett, Aaron Clark. Then they've got Jackson Ford through the middle. They've also got Dimitri Valmunga. They've
Beast.
probably
Did
got.
you see his haircut?
Oh, was that him?
Yeah, that's the best footy haircut I've ever seen, Tim. You got to see it.
Oh my God.
A deep shape, like a lot
See
of
if you can
side
find it.
business
Yeah,
missing.
I'll get it.
He has gone pretty much the Felice Kafusi,
But his
he's
hair's
kept
long.
how he's
That's
got
tough.
the big
Yeah, that's
front.
tough.
He's kept it in the back of the
Yeah,
Felice.
that's
It is
bad.
one of the best hairdos I've ever
that's
seen.
bad. You get a lot of that in the area. Mount Druitt.
Yep. So Niokore is still only 29. So I'm doing a bit of research on the fly here as well.
That's still
Kurt Capewell's 30, about to turn 33. So I don't think Laban will keep him out of the side, but those two guys, don't get me wrong, they're still good footballers. That is unbelievable. That's got to be one of the best hairdos I've ever seen. But sometimes you just got to let a guy like that loose, Whether that's straight away or not is a fair point though, Savs. And I definitely don't think he's just can't miss slam dunk.
Now that we're sort of coming to the conclusion of the players over 500k, would you guys mind sharing the in joke about this player that's got a you keep having a shared in joke.
Oh, it's just...
it's not shared. Savs... you go, Savs.
It's pretty lame, to be honest. Like he keeps saying Gannon, and there's a cricketer who's pretty average. His name's Cameron Gannon.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So the Warriors
so
guy...
I just keep saying Gannon.
So the Warriors guy's name is Morgan Gannon.
Yeah.
He's the guy they brought over from Leeds.
Yeah.
And Savs hijacked that with
Wordsmith, classic.
He's had... Not only did he ever go at it in the group chat earlier, which I gave him laughing... I gave him an emoji for. He's now had 2 cracks at it in the potty, and I thought, I don't know if our listeners can handle this.
You know what? If you didn't give a laughing react to it, I may have not said it again.
Yeah,
I gave that so that you didn't keep going with it. That was more of like a haha, you got your
gave
laugh.
him your payoff.
Yeah. I was like, damn, that was
He's
good.
like, this is good material. I'm going to revisit this.
I think that's part of my humour, just to
like it.
Just to be so dry that it makes other people laugh at me.
Yeah, it's good.
No, that jokes are fine, Savs. As I said before, I was looking forward to it when I got in here, and I got a few, and I'm happy.
Not enough. For a 1 hour 40 episode, we tried to keep this to an hour, and that was... Yeah, Timmy looks... We had a mad conversation the other day just saying we've got to keep it under an hour. Because
We've got to work out how to cut like the...
I feel like this one potentially maybe had less dry spots.
Yeah, I feel like...
we had to do this long for this one, I reckon.
I feel like this... I think all we got to work out is if that's what you want to do, and if that's what the listeners want, and maybe they can give some feedback, wouldn't be a bad idea.
Actually,
we can talk to some of them and just say, hey, here's like one line of this is why they're good, but we're not getting them because of the buy or because this or whatever, and we could do that.
Kind of want to do everyone a justice, but also don't want to
cover them because if people want to get them in round 5, we've covered them now, and they can do what we're talking about.
They might pull the trigger. I know.
They can put them on the watch list.
Yeah, and that's what the positional analysis is for, to cross every path and make sure you do it. So
not leave any stone unturned, to cross the T's, dot the I's.
Otherwise you'll be a limb. Good. But yeah, that's it for the Second Row Forward podcast. If you are here this long, please comment on any platform on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, because the fact that we do these longer ones, they take a while to get out into the algorithm. So we really do appreciate when you do comment, because it allows the algorithm to push it just a bit more, because these longer ones are really hard to go really far in the algorithm. So this time of year is really important for us to grow. So we want to try and maximize on that as much as possible. And that's why I've done 3 fucking team reveals, all right?
Hey, don't worry, I'll do a team reveal for you eventually.
Yeah,
once I look at mine, I've still got 1.2 mil in the bank because I haven't picked any guns yet. I've just looked at all my value options, and I'll start upgrading once the trials start this weekend.
Your team reveal is still our most watched video on YouTube.
It'll be back, baby. Don't worry. I'll get some more.
I'm not doing one till probably the week before or the week of starting.
You tell me when you want me, and me and
I'm going to call bullshit on that.
He'll have another one out in the next. I reckon give it till after not this trial, after the next week's trials, and he'll do another one.
You'll drop one, he'll give you a cool.
No, but after next week's trials is Vegas anyway. So
yeah, so that's when you'll want it out for sure.
Yeah,
is that the week you're talking about? That
there'll
week?
Be one more.
Right.
There'll be one more.
That's fair.
Before the season starts.
Yeah.
Which will be 4, which is the
I
same
think we
as
should
last
all
year.
get ours out. I think.
Yeah, we'll do it next time.
I've never done a team reveal.
You've never done one.
Yeah.
You're very cagey.
I'm a little cagey, aren't I?
You did say that last year.
I've never done one. Yeah.
Mikey hates doing them too because he's like, I don't want people.
Well, why don't you give a framework?
I mean, I'm happy to be completely transparent and share as much information, but I just don't want that complete.
Why don't you
copy paste?
Why don't you do a framework one, like your players you can't live without and you can keep.
Oh,
you can keep some in your pocket.
Good, yeah.
You know what I mean? At least then.
No, actually, no.
You could do that now because that kind of helps people.
For Timmy, we've got a really good one because he's got all his Green Book members. We've got a Green Book episode.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. That's actually that works. That counts. You've got like having your Green Book members instead of your actual.
Yeah.
And then you can rank all your Green Book members, and then I've written them all down as well. So
sounds like another 2-hour podcast. You poor bugger.
Who is the MVP for this episode?
Yeah,
we got Dylan Lucas, Tino, Preston, Crichton, Duncan, and I've just put Halasima in there because I assume the enthusiasm in your speech.
Wecker's 17% owned, and I don't need to go too skyrocketing, but I think he's pretty solid. Talis Duncan was cheeky as a pod, for sure.
I liked Duncan.
Yeah, I thought I enjoyed sneaking that one in there when I saw the stats. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, sorry, I nearly missed that.
I know it's your Green Book, so you make the final call, Timmy, but mine would be Tino. And I know he's high owned, so
Tino,
it's just...
I was surprised in the Tino chat.
His stats are just that good, I think. But he doesn't have to be the MVP.
Oh,
That's why. That's why
I
you're
can't
the king
pick
of the Green
between
Book.
the three of them, actually. I like them all so much for different reasons and because they're different sort of...
Well, who's your funnest one?
Oh, Lekker's the funnest for
There you
me.
go. I reckon there you go.
So Halasima.
Save the best for last.
But like if you can put Tino and then screw the percentages, maybe just one or two by,
Yeah, it's going to be MVP, but no percent. No other episode is based on percentages.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah.
So
whatever you want.
Lecker or
boys
Tino?
want.
Lecker or
No,
Tino?
I like all. I think those three are the three that I'd choose as well.
Tino or Lecker?
Tino.
Tino?
That's
All
fair.
right.
I'm a man of the people,
Grant, just before we go, I know
Yes.
we're dragging it out
No,
a
no,
bit
you're
here,
good.
but have you listened to the other episodes?
Yep.
I know you do listen.
Yeah. Caught up.
MVP, have you agreed with the MVP? So we've gone, I think it was Sandon for hookers.
Yep.
For front row, it was Toby Couchman. 458, it was...
Munster.
Was it Blaze? Blaze or Munster? I
think it was Munster.
And for halfbacks, it was Nico.
Yeah.
Do you
I think
disagree?
no, I don't disagree with any of those. I think they all make pretty much sense. There's reasons for all of them, and that I don't have to have all of them in my side to think that that's probably right. Everyone's going to have.
You can't have them all. You can't.
I
fit
don't
every
think you could
MVP.
fit every MVP into your side. Well, affordability wise, you probably can right now, but it's going to get more expensive when we get to fullbacks and centres. And
Well, a lot of our MVPs have been based on not necessarily the best we think in the position, but the one where like
Bang
most
for buck
interesting or
or-
everything. It's everything.
kind of everything.
Yeah.
Like I think it started
Pound
off
for
with,
pound.
Yeah, I like that.
Well,
It is pound for
It
pound.
started off who surprised us most.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
like
Sandon
who
was a
would-
good one, right?
Yeah,
I think that
Sandon
was a really good one.
Yeah.
I think that the 5/8. The only thing I'll say about 5/8 is I think it will change when a certain someone from the Knights gets a duel. That's who I think will be.
Which wasn't a real possibility. I think,
No,
at
it
that
wasn't. It's
stage.
only come out in the last little bit. So
Yeah, well, luckily Sandon already has the 5/8, so
there you go. You can cover both.
I love Sandon. He's in my side. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
I've been nursing a wee for about 20 minutes.
Exactly what I said earlier.